Greetings everyone, we're back with a brand new video here, and unless you've been sleeping under a rock, well, even if you've been sleeping under a rock, you probably still heard the election results from last night. Donald Trump defeated Kamala Harris and will become the 47th president of the United States. Now, as big of a story that is, that's not the focus of this video per se. And so let me just get right into it, because when I saw that it became painfully obvious that Donald Trump would win, let me say, I don't rock with either one of them. I knew, and especially listening to the voices of the new black media, and they were spot on. But they said that, that if Donald Trump won, then it would be black people, particularly black men, that would get the blame for this. And sure is ish, that is exactly what happened. I started checking, and I know social media is not exactly a rife sometimes with human intelligence, but I decided just to start checking. Even last night, some of the things I saw, I can't say they were appalling, because I was not surprised, but it was just, I was just like, wow, they wasted no time. In already talking about the blame and all of these things. And here's what I want to say, because in what we've seen in this election is a continual step on that cycle. And I think, as an observer, I've seen really since, I would say, 2016, you've seen more and more black people start to get to the point where they're starting to come around, where they're getting to the point where, you know what, we're not just going to vote Democratic because that's what mom and them did, that's what grandmom and them did, just because. We are going to look at politics as the business arrangement that it is, and start to ask critical questions of these candidates. Say, hey, what are you doing? What are we getting in exchange for our vote? And you saw it more and more, which is part of the reason that Trump even won in 2016. You saw it in 2020, but they were able to use the specter, the boogeyman, if you will, of a second Trump term in order to scare a lot of people to the polls. And as a result, Jim Crow Joe Biden got awarded 4 years in the White House. And you started to see it even before they edged Joe Biden out the paint to get Kamala in there. You started seeing people even asking critical questions back then. And what I've seen in a response to that, it goes to show you why, granted, when people from the other side of the aisle say it, I think it's more of a political football, in terms of trying to garner more support, when they say, well, why do you continuously vote or support a party that continuously disrespects you? And I want you all to think about this, because those of you who follow and observe politics, that what I would say it's not only disrespect, it's outright disdain. Because when you think about how the officials, the politicians themselves talk to, at, and about black people, it's contemptuous. They show utter contempt, because we've seen it, whether it be, the super predator thing with Hillary Clinton, or even with Joe Biden, who said it with his whole chest, if you don't vote for him, you're not black. Now, I'm going to stop right here for a minute, because can you just imagine a candidate having the gall, the unmitigated gall, to say that about any other group? Take the word black out, put in Jewish, put in gay, put in anything, and his campaign would have been sunk before the show went off the air, or before the interview concluded. But he said it, and not only you had black people still not defending it and still supporting him, whether you have Kamala Harris as a candidate saying, you think I'm going to do something that's only going to help black people? No! And again, the same type. Do you think she would have said that about any other group? And we both, well, I say both because only a couple of you are going to see this. We know the answer to that question. And to have that, to even fix your mind and your mouth to say that, you have a certain level of contempt and disgust for the very people whose votes you're trying to cultivate. This is the crazy part. They feel entitled to our support. They feel like we're just supposed to do it because that's just how it's happened for the past 6 or 7 decades. And now when you have people saying, well, wait a minute now, hold on. We need something here. We're not just going to give away our power freely, because that's what it is. Your vote is your power freely. And it makes people uncomfortable. You know, nothing makes politicians and sadly other black people more uncomfortable than when black people finally start to demand tangibles for our vote. The same thing that every other group does. Now that we're starting to do it, it's a problem. And you see it even within this election cycle. And the most recent was when, you know, they had Barack Obama come out there and wag his finger at black men. Like, you have some nerve to do that. Because here's the thing, there is no way in heck that you would have fixed your mouth to say that about any other group. But again, because of the lack of respect, the contempt, they feel that they can talk to us that way and still get what they want. You know, whether you have, and I'm so disappointed in Magic Johnson. Right, we got to get these black men, we got to get their mind right. As if that the fact that you have a growing contingent of black men, and I want to say there's a lot of sisters that think the same way, but since it was more targeted to black men, that's where I'm gonna focus. That and that's what so much of it was directed. That we got to get their mind right to make the right vote. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's in essence what he was saying. Is if these brothers that somehow looked at the candidates and decided that they were going to go in another direction, that somehow there's something wrong with them, somehow that they are sick in the head. Is it the fact that they're saying, well, hey, this candidate is not promising anything for our community. She has not earned my vote. So why in the deep fried blue heck would I just freely give it? Well, you've got, they trotted them all out there. You know, whether it be Cardi, Jesus Christ. Cardi B, who, by the way, the very things that they accused Dr. Cosby of, she admitted to doing, but somehow she's not in jail. I'll just leave that right there. Well, you got her stumbling and bumbling and fumbling through a statement. Who else? They had Michelle Obama come up there and try to talk down to black men, and they have all these people, you know, and on the other side, whether it be handkerchief heads like Ricky Smiley and Roland Martin talking crazy to black people for simply saying, hey, politics is an exchange, and we want to get something out of it the same way everybody else is. And while he's running around talking about what fraternity and sorority people are in, like that really matters two butts about anything. That is so meaningless. But again, these people, you know, they get off, and I literally mean on empty symbolisms and nothing burgers, to where that's where they think that really means something to the larger black electorate, and quite frankly, it does not. But you know, they continuously they do this because they feel like, I can't even say they take it for granted. They just expect it. Like this, and this is wild to me. And the fact that you are blaming and I've not even that you're blaming it at a group of people for simply not voting the way you wanted them to. And again, I think if we're looking at this further, the fact that they even feel comfortable enough to say these types of things, it just shows the lack of overall respect that they even have for black men, that they think that they can just say, well, look, you need to do exactly what we say and how we say it. And if you don't vote how we want and how we tell you, there's something wrong with you. And you know, really just think about that and what that shows and how they really look at us. They don't look us almost as people, which, you know, that's a topic for another day. But it's just wild to me that I sat here and saw this. And you would think that it would say, okay, you know, we ignored, we disrespected, we degraded the very group of people that could have likely made the difference. Maybe we should come back to the negotiation table and say, okay, what are the things that you want? What, you know, and do it like that. But no, but they think that they can browbeat, that they can shame, that they can cajole, name call in order to get what they want. And it's not going to work. It may have worked in the past, but it's not going to work anymore, because what's going to happen is the people who's asking these critical questions is going to continue to grow, because the thing about it is you can't answer the questions, whether it be for Donald Trump, and I'm speaking of the two major parties, or Kamala Harris. You can't provide a solid answer as to what tangibles would be provided in exchange for the vote. And if you cannot do that, then you have not done your job as a candidate to earn said vote. And you, as the voter who has what they need, then should not reward them in spite of that. It's painfully simple, but for some reason it's like that shouldn't apply to us. You know, we should just vote that way, because that's how you tell us. That's how Ricky Smiley told us to vote. That's how Roland Martin told us to vote. That's what Beyonce said. That's what Magic Johnson said. We don't care, because first of all, how they live and it doesn't even apply. So you saying that, you endorsing, I don't care. If that's who you want to vote for, rich, bought and paid for celebrity, good for you. They're your two class. We don't care, because you don't face the same issues that we do. Okay? And you're in such a different stratosphere. Your words don't even mean anything to the average man. So for you to get up there and I'm talking all these bought and paid for Democratic shills, you get up there and think it's okay to wag your fingers. It shows that you don't have the juice, you don't have the ear of the people, the ear of the streets, and you're useless at this point. You're really just an annoyance, because we have to get up here and listen to you soak up all this good oxygen with your blowhard and your crap. And nobody just wants to hear it, man. But you will learn. You know, these parties, particularly Democratic Party, they'll learn. If you got to lose 10 straight elections for you to get your mind right, then so be it. You know, we didn't get into, and this is what I tell people who say, well, what do I do? You know, I got to vote, you know, for a Democrat anyway. And my response to this, and I'll leave you with this. The predicament that black people in America, foundational black America, that we're in, we didn't come to this place in one election cycle. And so we're not going to get ourselves out of this in one election cycle. And I leave you with that. And that's all I've got, because I went on a little longer than I thought. So thank you all for watching. I will try to be a little more active on this channel. If something happens and the mood strikes me to record a video, I will definitely do so. So thank you for checking it out. Be back with more videos real soon. Peace.